Okay. Take two on the bike stuff here. Seeing if I can actually compete at all with my opponents. With my pretty much end game bike here. Granted, it's not the super bike you get from doing the point to points, but short of that. I don't know how much better those bikes are, presumably some. Like, this is another course I understand pretty well, in my opinion. I'd like to think I can handle myself here. The AI I could just not overcome last time I was here. Look at that tiny preload. That's what happens if I try to do, like, most of the way preload. Well, either that or I just end up doing the full 100% preload anyways. Fury 3 and this game both are not very good at the partial preload thing. It's really, really hard to try to be precise with your preloading. It's not a good shot at that. Might need to take a few practice tries on it either way. But yeah, in the ATV, my secret weapon was going between there, and it worked perfectly. Just like everyone else around me was just annihilated by it. It felt like. It's weird how much a harder time I have on the bike compared to the ATV. Like, I was fine on the ATV here. Like, considering the same courses with fundamentally the same controls, you would think that it wouldn't be a big deal switching from one to the other. You can hear me trying to preload here. Also, it's so hard to not fall off to the right here, jeez. That was me preloading about the same amount in terms of stick motion as the last time I took that jump. I don't know if I need to preload on this jump or not, that was the thing. Yeah, see, I still think that serves me well taking that little in-between path there that the AI doesn't really seem to know about. Like, I feel like I'm handling this pretty fine in most regards. Didn't press that, boy. Yeah, that didn't turn out to be enough preload anyways, but thank you. But that was an okay-ish run of the course. See if we manage to not fall behind next time early on, if that would actually be enough. You just never have a chance to catch up in the Fury games if you fall behind, like, ever. The games are absolutely brutal about that. The AI can wipe out and catch back up, though. That's fine. It's really just I think their rubber banding is really aggressive is how this series works. I think it's really hard to take that straight, jeez. Oh, well, I was going a bit fast enough anyways, thankfully. And look at me having my fraction of a second lead after what felt like a pretty much ideal performance. Not in the sense that, like, a speedrunner going to do better or whatever, but in the sense that, like, it's about as well as I can expect myself to do. And doesn't add up to much, it doesn't feel like. Like, I would not expect myself to do a better lap than that on this course. And it got me with optimistically 1 second lead. Doesn't really think it's even that, really. I ain't sure if I can manage to do all 3 laps of this, like, with no issue, then oh, stop that without the game doing that to me, for instance. So it's not the game doing that, but my hardware. But my lead is growing, which is encouraging. Feels like my approaches in the bike are so much more consistent than on the ATV. I never know as well whether or not to preload. Granted, I always had some difficulty deciding whether to preload on this course either way. On the ATV as well. Not pressing that? Why? I'm not pressing these things. And now I suffer for it. I also can't turn while I'm doing a stunt, which also bit me there. Although it doesn't matter if you wipe out, I guess, which way you're facing. Let's see if I manage to earn myself enough credit there to manage to win regardless. Very possible the answer is no, unfortunately. Power of actually getting a lead somewhere. Wow. You actually build a lead and you can actually afford to make mistakes eventually. Also, Yoshi did not do very well today. Jeez, all for another award that isn't actually useful for me. But hey, something. We are making progress on the bike. Okay, now what? It is unfortunate you don't get actual money for doing any of these, but oh well. It is weird to me how the... I guess they categorize it by sponsor. Well, that's not really how it works though, because when you change vehicle, it changes the sponsor again. Yeah, they have the greater category on the bottom and the lesser category on the top. It bugs me a lot in this game. But anyhow. This thing I don't have. What's this gonna give me? It's a prestige deal. Who cares? All these are just prestige deals. Hopefully sometime soon we'll actually get to get some better parts for the bike. See if this goes better than last time. Here particularly, I think the longer gear ratio might be ideal. Because you got a lot of straightaway here. You're not doing much in the way of turning. Make my gear ratio even longer might actually be ideal here. If it doesn't go my way the first time. This might be the up and down hill events may be the correct place to use the very long gear ratios. Astounding that guy in front of me managed to actually land that, considering the angle they were at. I imagine this is probably classified as a hill climb. Because I know the sponsor events like this one are classified as hill climbs and downhill. But I figure that a shorter gear ratio is probably ideal for climbing hills, if I had to guess. But I think you'd want more torque to get up the hill. Apparently two guys in front of me, not just one. Where's the other guy? Don't make me... Game. Your punishment for finishing the course, not in first, is that you have to sit through a saving screen and multiple loading screens to try again. You can't just retry. But yeah, was there another guy who was way out in front of us? Yes, I don't know if the longer gear ratio would be ideal or not, because you have some long straightaways here, but at the same time... At the same time, I don't know if going up the hills will suffer from a longer gear ratio or not. I suspect it would. Or maybe it doesn't have much impact. It's hard for me to say without testing it. And also, since there are multiple minutes between each attempt, it's also hard to tell just from like, testing too. I love how I start in the last place. Also, people just wipe out immediately. Great. Including me. Cool, thank you. So the game only sometimes makes you have to... Okay, that guy's just going to that building, cool. Guess he has business there. So the other game only sometimes makes you actually have to press the gas when you start the race. Whereas other times you just get to hold the gas and it starts immediately. So I could see it being that you have to figure out the right path to start, and then from there you can just kind of coast through the beginning the rest of the time. Something vaguely like that. I can't tell if I'm doing worse than other people on the hills, for instance. There are just so many paths you can take on this particular course, it's always really hard to decide what the problem is. So that guy is catching up to me, next to me, for instance. Yeah, I might be doing worse here on the uphill parts, it's hard to say. But I think I should try to... I suspect I really need to try to get a lead at the beginning here. On the more downhill segment. Right here it feels like, yeah, if you go on the right you can go off the cliff. I guess if you go left a bit on that part, as you can see there's that path I took right there, that more shallow portion next to the ramp. There's no reason to take the actual ramp proper, of course. So avoiding it is a great idea. It's just, can you do that while not flying off the side of the... You really have to go really far to the left if you want to try that, though, is the issue. People just running into each other. You're just so far ahead of me here, jeez. Yeah, you have to go really far to the left. A lot more than you think. But it does let you gain a good deal on these guys. But you only gain on them. It doesn't actually get you the lead, really. And then I suspect that there's not much I can do to not fall behind afterwards, because I might not have the right gear ratio for this. I'm kind of deliberately following these guys here, because I'm wondering if taking another route, or taking their route, might end up being the more efficient one. I was on par with them. That's not saying much. It's hard to say. I don't know how much time I want to spend on trying to just route this thing. I think I'll move on to another event next time and then spend a little bit of time on freestyle. We may or may not actually manage to do all of the bike events. It's crazy how much harder this is to me than the ATV, though. And it's not because I have a terrible bike here, I don't think. Unless the other vehicle after this one that's more expensive that I declined to buy is actually a lot better. And I only thought this one was better because it had upgrades on already when I was looking at stats when I was buying it. It's very possible. I don't want to do that one. Can I get something that gives me parts? No, there are still parts that I don't have somehow, I thought. I thought I already had all the prototype parts. But no, I thought there were still prototype parts I didn't have for the bike. I don't see them in here. Do you unlock them some other way? I don't know. Alright, well next time I think we'll head into freestyle again. We did the park, we'll head into the arena. Alright. Let's fix up our gear ratio, we probably don't want. Let's do a short gear ratio for this, if anything, probably. It's possible that with the gear ratios I'm a little bit in over my head. I'm trying to fudge numbers I don't quite understand and not actually helping myself, but it's hard to say. Alright, well we'll do some good old freestyle next time. More likely to have some progress there.